Electrolysis is a process whereby a compound is decomposed into its constituent elements when an electric current passes through an electrolyte. The suffix lysis is a Greek word meaning breakdown. Chemical substances can be classified into electrolytes and non-electrolytes. Electrolytes are substances that can conduct electricity either in molten state or in an aqueous solution and undergo chemical changes. Non-electrolytes are substances that cannot conduct electricity either in the molten state or in aqueous solution. Conductors are substances that can conduct electricity in the solid or molten state but are not chemically changed. In general, examples of electrolytes are acids, alkalis, salt solutions, or molten salts. All these are ionic substances. Examples of non-electrolytes are covalent substances which do not contain ions. Ionic compounds do not conduct electricity in the solid state because the ions are held in a lattice and do not move freely. When they are melted or dissolved in water, they can conduct electricity. This is because the ions are free to move in the molten state or aqueous solution. Hydrogen chloride and ammonia are covalent compounds. They exist as molecules in organic solvents. They do not conduct electricity in an organic solvent. However, solution of hydrogen chloride and ammonia in water can conduct electricity. This is because they exist as free mobile ion in water. An electrolytic cell consists of a battery and electrolytes that contain cations, means positive ions, and anions, is negative ions, and two electrodes. The process of electrolysis involves two stages. Stage 1, movement of ions to the electrodes. Cations are positive ions move toward the cathode, the negatively charged electrode. Anions are negative ions move toward the anode, the positively charged electrode. Stage 2, discharge of ions. Cations are discharged at the cathode by accepting electron from the cathode, which has an excess of electrons. Anions are discharged at the anode by donating electron to the anode, which has a lack of electrons. Electrons flow from the anode to the cathode through the connecting wire in the external circuit. When ions are discharged at the electrodes, they form atoms or molecules. Electrolysis of molten salts. In molten state, there are one anion and one cation that are move freely. Electrolysis of aqueous solutions. An aqueous solution of a compound is a solution produced when the compound is dissolved in water. An aqueous solution of a compound contains an ion and cation of the compound, hydrogen ion and hydroxide ion from the partial dissociation of water molecules. During the electrolysis of an aqueous solution of a compound, two different types of cation move towards the cathode, which are cations of the compound and hydrogen ion. Two different types of anion move towards the anode, which are anions of the compound and hydroxide ions. Only one anion and one cation will be chosen to be discharged at anode and at cathode. The selective discharge of ions depends on three factors. One, positions of the ion in the electrochemical series. Two, concentration of the ions in the electrolyte. And three, types of electrodes used in the electrolysis. The electrochemical series is a list of ions arranged in ascending order of their tendency to discharge. The lower the position of an ion in the electrochemical series, the higher is the tendency of the ion to be discharged. The ions in the upper position of the electrochemical series are not selective discharge to form atoms or molecules because these ions have a stronger tendency to exist as ions than atoms or molecules. There are many industrial applications of electrolysis. The most common applications are extraction of metals, purification of metals, and electroplating of metals. Electroplating is a process of depositing a layer of metal on another substance using electrolysis. Objects are electroplated to protect them from corrosion and to give them an attractive appearance. To electroplate an object with a metal, the object to be plated must become the cathode. The anode would be the pure plating metal. The electrolyte should contain ions of the plating metal. The conditions that must be satisfied for good quality plating are the metal object to be plated must be clean and free of grease. The concentration of the ions of the plating metal must be low. The electric current must be small, and the object to be plated must be turned steadily. Purification of metals. Metals extracted from their ores may contain other metals as impurities. Electrolysis can be used to purify these metals. In the purification of metals, the impure metal is used as the anode and the pure metal is used as the cathode. The electrolyte used is an aqueous salt solution of the metal. Very reactive metals can only be extracted from their ores by electrolysis. The benefits of electrolysis in industries are: number one, reactive metals can be extracted by electrolysis. Number two, a very thin layer of metal can be coated on an object using electrolysis. Number 3, electrolysis can be used to produce a very pure metals. The disadvantages of electrolysis may cause pollution, and electrolysis is an expensive process because it requires a large amount of energy.